Right, real mixed bag of jobs on now, and it's mainly sort of restoration and fettling of interior parts. This is our one of the best of the binnacles we have. I don't know what you call them, fascia surrounds. So the clock's sitting there, but obviously it's a bit broken and been repaired 1,000 times badly with all sorts of, this looks like the old tissue and CA glue, super glue trick. Yeah, reinforcers missing off it. So this is the one off the white car, that car, and this is the one off the silver car. So we're gonna make one out of two. I'm gonna have to, I think, because this bit's missing here, and this bit's all cracked and that doesn't have the reinforcer on it, I think I'm gonna cut and shut that plastic into there, and then just go around and basically just resin it all up, fix it all up. And there's gunk everywhere. It's disgusting. I've just pulled a vent out of here, and the vent's got this like mastic poo on it. It's all in the bin now, but it's really sticky. We call it dog shit, but yeah, I've got it on the floor now, so every time I step in it I'm sticking to it. It's nasty, proper nasty. But anyway, silicone remover gets that off. There we go. This stuff here, I hate even touching it. Look at it. It really is like dog shit. Oh, actually, it looks a bit like resin. Not that I know. I saw it on a program somewhere. I wouldn't know what that would look like, even though it's legal to buy and use over here. Right. Anyway, digressing. So they've got to repair that binnacle. Austin is working on the vents for the aircon. I'm going to try and put this in the bin. There we go. Now I've got sticky fingers. Yuck. Austin is doing the vents. He's doing the vents so that the aircon actually comes through to the people. Just tried the centre console there as well for size, and that does actually fit with the original hole, a little bit off centre, and it probably it does mean that we can't get the window switches in between the gear lever and handbrake lever. We can't put the switches in there, so we'll have to find somewhere else to fix them. But that's easy peasy stuff. So we'll pull that back out now, and we'll work on getting the dash done, and the vents and the binnacle and stuff. Okay. So this is some previous, like I think it's CA glue, the super glue. So it's just got to get rid of all that, get it all smoothed out. Probably open that crack up a little bit so we can sort of like close it up. If I drop that, it's going to go into 1,000 pieces. I've got to get this up as well. So just like I say, I'm sure this is tissue paper. It's glue. Actually, I might not need to get that off because we're going to cut that piece in. So it might be just a case of chopping through there. We'll see about that, but that's definitely going to come off. And I'll put glass fibre reinforced kitty hair filler stuff in there. That's polyester resin, and I just did a quick Google, and best glue for PCABS, epoxy based adhesives, methyl acrylate, which is the CA glue, high grade polyurethane adhesives. So polyurethane would be kitty hair, which I think is going to do the job good enough. So hopefully I can get this off without wrecking the whole thing. I think that's the key to doing a nice job, is to remove the previous glue and attempts at repair, and then just gradually build it up and reinforce it as well. Right, so I scraped that off with a razor blade and then 320'd it. And I'm just looking now where to go next. This is missing part out of there, and this is the one out of the white car, which is so smashed. But this area here is better than that area there. So I think if I cut and shut that into there, that'll have that nice. I think that's how I'm going to have to just treat it. Just cut in new sections and then reinforce it all up with a kiddie head. Well, I'm not having the best of luck with the super glue. I've been trying to bond that piece onto there and it just keeps breaking off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plastic weld it with a soldering iron, and then I'll put the polyester filler stuff in there to strengthen it up. I could just use the polyester, but it's holding it. It's holding it while you apply it. There's no trouble with the glue really. I mean, you can put tape on it, but it looks messy. I taped up this bit here, and it's a bit stronger, but obviously it's messy. So I'll take that off if I can, and use the old soldering iron trick. Stacking dimes. So although this is the original sort of blower and aircon condenser or evaporator condenser unit that was in the car from being assembled 30 years ago, we had to change the angle of it because I cut the bulkhead of the car to be able to get the Duratec engine right back. So we changed the angle, and changing the angle has meant it interferes with the sliders for the temperature, and well, we're using this to switch the aircon on and off, and this adjusts the thermostat on the aircon. So because we changed the angle of that, it now interferes the 90-degree elbow that takes the pipe out to the vent on the right hand side here, interferes with the slider. So I had to cut it out like that, and now it fits, but obviously that's not going to get much air to the vent, so I now need to block that off, and then now need to block that in. Could call this Franken-dash, especially by doing the looking at the war scars. There we go, Franken-dash. Made a lots of other bits, so I don't know which is from the original car. This is the original car, that's the new car, this, that and the other, blah blah blah. But anyway, basically we're gonna get these like making one good one. It's getting a bit ridiculous, but I don't really have a choice. I was going to cut and shut that in, and I started to cut through it, give it a straight line, and it just shattered. It was just splintering everywhere. So I'm back to this. So I'm just going to have to fiberglass this all over. So sand the outside, fiberglass it, then sand the inside, get all this tissue and super glue off, and do the same. Fiberglass it and just do the best I can out of it, and then somehow join them up and fill in the gaps, or maybe I can fill in the gaps with what's left of that. But it's getting a bit silly really. I picked that up earlier and it just shattered. Got obviously all the fiberglass now holding it all together. No choice. So this is the jig I'm going to use, which is basically a bit of pallet wood with that taped on there, and that sort of shimmed in to position, and I'll just mix up my goo and stick it together. Once that's done, I've got to find a piece to go in there. Apparently when I asked Austin for the camera, he thought I said hammer, but anyway, you can go and put this back in now. That's the biggest bodge in the world, but it is after all aluminium ducting tape, so it's legal and it should give me some airflow. I had to tape that separate piece in there just to get the bow of it, and then fiberglass the top. So one of my trips to England I'll have to pick up a new one if there is such a thing. To cut a square piece out of there and just let a new piece in and just fiberglass it in, and then it's out with a sander and sand it all up. And now with the inserted bit ready for fiberglassing. You know, I may even get away with this. It's looking more and more like a dash. It's a bit bumpy through there, but I reckon with a guide coat and a block I could probably get that flatter. And I'm wondering about stone chipping it or texturing it somehow. So a bit of grey primer on there shows you how rough it really is, and also highlighted the fact I've got another crack down here, so I've still got to do some more fiberglassing. Right, a bit of a change in subject for the minute. This is like a C-pillar trim. You can see it's probably originally grey but gone like, I don't know, beige in, I don't know whether it's cigarette smoke or staining or what it is, but I'm going to try and clean it. I used this stuff years ago, Voy, it's a local thing. Basically I'm just seeing whether this will bring back the colour of the plastic. It's a clear liquid cream thing, and it appears to be not working. How many of you can truthfully say my dash has got more filler in it than the rest of the car? I couldn't resist. You've got to be flat in it, you're going to be looking at it all the time. Steering wheel might hide a bit of it, but I want that flat, you know, flat, not wibbly bobbly. Really struggling with the camera, it keeps cutting out with an SD card error. Anyway, we'll flatten that off and we'll matte black the whole thing. Done. Alright, so what I'm doing now is sanding out the scratches. So we've gone 80, roughing out everything at 80, then 120, then 180, we're on 240 now. That's the 240 paper there. So once these scratches are gone, I'll probably guide code it again and then go like 320, 400. And then we can paint the thing in matte black paint and we shouldn't see any of the scratches. We shouldn't see anything coming through. So I think we're going to get away with this. It's going to look alright in there. Not perfect. I could spend hours and hours and hours more on it to get it perfect, but I think diminishing returns is the word, where you sort of do something for, I don't know, say 5 or 6 hours and you get to 80%, and the last 20% takes another 8 hours. Right, that's the primer on there, and I've just done a boo-boo because I've cracked it already washing it, and you can see some other witness marks, but I'm not going to waste any more time on it because, well, we're going to use the car. To find out what we're going to use the car for, stay tuned. There you go, long distance shot for internet, looks perfect, mint. It's great and it's mint. It's not that good really. It'll do because we're in a hurry. There's a crack there, there's filler bodgy there, and there, but whatever. I'll sort it out when I get more time, I think. That's sort of in there, but the sad thing is only half of it is, because the other half is over here. It didn't survive the fitting. So what we're going to do is we're just going to bung it in as 2 pieces for now, and we'll have to do something about it later. I think that's probably enough for this episode on failing dash repairs, but something to revisit later. Cheers.